The lesson begins now. Settle down. Today, we are not brewing a simple potion of healing that is for lesser wounds. What you have endured is not a wound. It is a dismantling, a complete psychological rewriting at the hands of a so-called loved one. You believe you are dealing with heartbreak. You are mistaken. You are dealing with the aftermath of a soul-of-all hijacking. For years, you were the subject of an insidious, unsanctioned experiment. The goal was not to make you happy or to build a life with you. The goal was to hollow you out and wear your devotion like a cloak, to rewire your mind so completely that their voice became your own inner critic. Their reality became your bedrock, and their comfort became your sole purpose for existing. This is the most potent of the dark arts, not a curse that kills, but one that convinces the victim to slowly, willingly take their own soul apart, piece by piece. The first ingredient they require is your trust. They study you. They learn your hopes, your insecurities, the very cadence of your thoughts. They do this not to know you, but to catalogue your vulnerabilities. This is the reconnaissance phase. You mistake it for intimacy. It is, in fact, an assessment for invasion. You offered your mind freely, believing it was a gift of love. They accepted it as a schematic for your eventual deconstruction. Once trust is established, the infusion begins. This is where they introduce their primary agent of control, cognitive dissonance. They will say one thing and do another. They will declare their undying love in one breath and devalue you in the next. They will create a reality of profound instability. One day, you are their soulmate. The next, you are a burden, a fool, an inconvenience. This is not random cruelty. It is a precise, calculated strategy. It is designed to keep you in a perpetual state of anxiety, constantly striving to return to the good phase, the love bombing. You become a gambler at a rigged table, pulling the lever again and again, hoping for a jackpot that was never loaded into the machine. The psychologist Carl Jung had a term for what happens next. He spoke of feeling-toned complexes. Think of these as splinter psyches, shards of your own mind that break off under extreme emotional pressure or repeated trauma. A complex is not just a memory. It is an autonomous entity. It has its own energy, its own will, its own voice. And a narcissist is a master at creating one. Through relentless gaslighting, telling you that what you saw, you did not see. What you heard, you did not hear. What you felt was madness. They begin to install a new complex within you. Let us call it the abuser's complex. This splinter psyche is charged with all the emotional intensity of their betrayal, their lies, and your subsequent confusion. It acts, as Jung described, like an animated foreign body in the sphere of consciousness. Bitter their voice, their logic, their rules, living inside your head, rent-free. This is why you began to doubt yourself, your own instincts, your own perception of reality were now in direct conflict with this powerful, emotionally charged complex they had built inside you. It would whisper their justifications into your thoughts. When you saw evidence of their infidelity, the complex would scream, "You are paranoid. You are the crazy one. You are pushing them away." When you felt the cold sting of their indifference, the complex would hiss, "You are not enough. You are unlovable. You deserve this." You were no longer fighting with them. You were fighting with a part of yourself they had successfully colonized. You were at war with your own mind, and you did not even know you had been invaded. This is the rewiring. It is the process of turning your greatest Elia own intuition into your most vicious and tireless enemy. You became a prisoner in your own skull, with their voice acting as the warden. Which brings us to the final, terrifying state of this particular poison. When the rewiring is complete, the victim precipitates into a state that the philosopher Søren Kierkegaard would have recognized instantly. He called it despair. But this is not the simple sadness you see in films. Kierkegaard described despair as the sickness unto death. It is a sickness of the self, a spiritual condition where the self is in a state of profound imbalance because it has lost its connection to its true foundation. For the victim of narcissistic abuse, the narcissist asterisk becomes asterisk, that false foundation. Your self-worth, your reality, your very identity begins to relate only to them. Kierkegaard identified the most profound, most agonizing form of this sickness as the despair of not willing to be oneself. Think on that. After years of being told your thoughts are wrong, your feelings are invalid, and your perceptions are insane, you make a desperate, subconscious choice. You abandon the authentic you. You give up on your own selfhood because it has brought you nothing but pain, confusion, and punishment. You conclude that your true self must be the problem. So, you attempt to become what they want. You silence your instincts. You swallow your questions. You apologize for their cruelty. You become a ghost in your own life, a carefully constructed persona designed to appease the unappeasable. You are not living, you are performing. This, Kierkegaard argues, is the deepest hell. Not to be in pain, but to have utterly lost the self that feels the pain. You become a hollow man, a shell, existing only as a reflection in the narcissist's eyes. You look in the mirror and you no longer recognize the person staring back. You are exhausted, anxious, perpetually on edge. You have forgotten what you enjoy, what you believe in, who you were before the infusion began. You have been successfully rewired. Your operating system has been replaced with their malware. The experiment is complete. Now, the antidote. If you are listening to this, it means some part of you, some small, resilient flicker of your original self, has survived the purge. The antidote does not come in a gilded vial. It is not a simple spell. It is the most difficult act of will you will ever perform. It is the conscious, deliberate, and agonizing choice to once again, will, to be yourself, This process begins with recognition. You must understand and accept that the voice of doubt in your head is not yours. It is the complex. It is the splinter psyche. It is the warden they left behind to keep you in your cell. You must learn to identify it, to observe it, and to defy it. When it whispers, "You are worthless," you must find the strength to answer, "That is the complex speaking. That is not the truth." This is an act of rebellion. It is declaring war on the occupier of your mind. At first, your voice of truth will be a mere whisper, easily drowned out by the complex's roar. You must protect that whisper. You must nurture it. You must feed it with evidence. Every lie you uncover, every memory of their cruelty you validate, is another stone in the foundation of your new self. Jung believed that the path to wholeness was not in destroying these complexes, but in integrating them. This means you must face the shadow of what was done to you. You must look at the pain, the humiliation, and the shame without flinching. You do not forget what they did. You do not forgive it. You absorb it as a lesson. The memory of the pain becomes the steel in your spine. The scar becomes your armor. You must starve the complex of its power. Its power comes from your emotional reaction. When you stop engaging, when you stop arguing with it, when you treat it with cold, clinical indifference, it begins to wither. This is the true meaning of no contact. It is not just blocking their number. It is evicting their ghost from your mind. You will have to rebuild your identity from the ground up. You will have to rediscover what you enjoy. You will have to learn to trust your own senses again. It will be like learning to walk after years of being chained to a wall. Your muscles will be atrophied. You will stumble. You will fall. You will want to crawl back to the familiar misery of the cell. You must not. You must force yourself to make choices, seize any choice, based on your own desires, not on the predicted reaction of the complex. Eat what you want to eat. Listen to the music you want to listen to. See the friends you want to see. Each small act of authentic selfhood is a blow against the warden. Each choice is a declaration of your sovereignty. This is the alchemy of survival. You take the lead of your trauma and you transmute it into the gold of wisdom. The person you become after the forging will not be the same person who entered the fire. That person is gone. You will be harder, wiser, less trusting, perhaps, but infinitely more discerning. You will be able to detect the sweet scent of poison from a league away. You will never again mistake a cage for a home. They did not break you. They revealed you. They showed you the depths of your own resilience. They forced you to undertake the most sacred of all journeys, the journey back to the self. They inadvertently gave you the greatest gift of all, the opportunity to become unbreakable. Lesson is over.